can't think of a movie that gave me as many erections as this movie did when I was a teenager. Oh, nostalgia. It's June, which means it is LGBTQ Pride Month. So I decided to do things a little bit differently this month for my YouTube channel, and hopefully it goes over well. But basically for this month, to help celebrate it being LGBTQ Pride Month and it being the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, I decided, in addition to the normal movie and TV and comic book reviews that I've been doing, I wanted to also talk about all things gay. Gay, 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 gay. And so sporadically throughout the month, I want to go back and review some of the gay properties that I've enjoyed in the past. So let us begin. Also, hopefully I can get through this video as quickly as possible because I'm a little sick and I just took some NyQuil, so it's going to be a lot of editing because I'm going to have to stop and pause because my nose has been running like Niagara Falls and it's very annoying. So naturally, I thought the first video that I should do for this special series should be the very first gay movie that I ever saw, which was Trick, that came out in 1999 when I was at the ripe old age of 14 years old. And this movie is directed by Jim Fall. And keep in mind that in 1999, this was before Queer as Folk came out. This was also before Willow came out of the closet as a lesbian in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Bill Clinton was in his last year as the president, and we were still using AOL dial-up. Back then, I was also reading and jerking off to Justin Timberlake fan fiction. God, it was a different world in 1999. But anyway, this movie stars Christian Campbell, Neve Campbell's brother, as Gabriel, a struggling musical theater writer. And he decides to step out of his norm and go to a gay strip club. And while at the strip club, one of the strippers, played by John Paul Piddock, catches his eye. But Gabriel is a very shy, introverted character, and so he doesn't really speak to the stripper or even give him any dollar bills. Instead, he leaves and heads home. And this movie takes place in New York, by the way, so he heads home and he's on the subway. And while on the subway, he runs into the very same stripper that's in the same subway car as he is. And so eventually they catch each other's eye and they decide to go back to Gabriel's place for a one-night stand. Well, this is a movie, and so things don't go the way that they're planned. And many hijinks ensue, and it prevents these two consenting adults from having a good time. And granted, yes, this movie's been out for 20 plus years, but I'm gonna try not to go into spoiler territory in case you've never heard of this movie and decide you want to check it out after this review, which I definitely recommend you should. Like, I don't remember the circumstances of how I came across this movie, but I am so glad I did. Like I said, this is the first movie I'd ever seen with leading gay characters in it. And like I mentioned before, I was 14 when this movie came out, and 14-year-old Michael is a very different Michael than he is today. Like, back then, I was still in heavy denial of living this gay lifestyle and it being acceptable. I mean, again, this was 1999. In 1999, gay marriage still wasn't legal. In 1999, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which was a law preventing openly gay men and women from serving in the military, was still the law of the land. At the time, in 1999, Lawrence versus Texas hadn't happened yet, which was a law in Texas preventing two consenting adult men from having sex in the privacy of their own home. Like, the Lawrence v. Texas ruling wasn't abolished until 2003. Crazy, right? So I say all that to say this movie definitely had a huge impact on my life, to the point that I still quote this movie to this day. So when I decided to do this special gay celebration, Gaylabration, I said, of course, the first movie that I gotta do has to be Trick. And I'm glad I decided to do it because going back and watching this movie, it still holds up. But yeah, I don't know if it's the nostalgia or what, but I love everything about this movie. And I used to have a huge crush on both of the leads, Christian Campbell and John Paul Piddock. And the thing I love the most about this movie is their chemistry. Now, this movie is a gay rom-com, and with rom-coms, you always know at the end of the movie, they always end up together. And so it's not really a spoiler to say that. But because of the chemistry of the actors, you can definitely see why these two end up falling for each other in the end. If their chemistry didn't work, this movie doesn't work. Even the side characters of like Gabriel's annoying, attention-seeking best friend Catherine, interestingly enough, played by Tori Spelling, is fun to watch. Like, I was laughing all over again watching this movie as if I'd seen it for the first time, and that to me is a sign of a classic. Speaking of more side characters, like, I can't get through this review without mentioning, hold on, let me backtrack. Remember I mentioned earlier that I still quote this movie to this day? Well, one of the scenes that I still quote to this day comes from the scene-stealing drag queen character played by Miss Coco Peru. The moment she steps on screen, all focus is on her, as it should be, because boy oh boy. Now granted, she's only in this movie for a very brief moment, but it's a moment that you will never forget. I certainly didn't. And granted, it's never happened to me. This movie taught me at a very young age that if you ever get cum in your eye, it burns. So yeah, this movie even teaches you life lessons. But before I rate this movie, if you couldn't already tell what my rating is, check out the description box below to get a description of what my rating system is. But there's no way that I could give this movie anything other than a blockbuster. And I really hope that the talks that I read a year ago, that Jim Fall and the original cast are coming back to do a Trick 2, I hope that comes into fruition. Because even though this movie doesn't need a sequel, I've always wanted to see these characters come back. So Trick, have you heard of it? Did you see it? Or if you decided to check out the movie because of this review, what did you think about it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button and give this video a like. It'll really help out the channel. And while you're at it, please check out the other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe for more. Tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time. Happy Pride Month!